Okay, here we go for our test drive in the Yoga van. The 1986 Toyota van. Off we go. I moved from New York to South Carolina, from upstate New York and the Finger Lakes to South Carolina in June. So I'm near the beach here, but the roads are a lot better in upstate New York than they are down here in terms of good twisties and test drive routes. So lots of straight roads around here, but we'll see what we can do. 89,675 miles. I took the photos that you see in the auction this morning, so the miles we're going to add right now probably going to be all the miles I end up putting on this van. It's been a great little car for me. It was my shop truck really for Tobin Motor Works. I've got a couple windows open. It's the sliding windows in the back, so you might get a little bit of noise. Not sure what I'm gonna prove with this video other than that this is just a mighty fine little machine. 2.2 liter Toyota motor is one of the greatest workhorse motors ever. This thing will be running even after the Mercedes 123 diesels die. I had a Vanagon for years. This kind of reminds me of that, although this is a lot faster than a Vanagon, believe it or not. My air-cooled Vanagon had 67 horsepower. This has 100, which is pretty cool. Still not going to break any land speed records, but this will do 70 miles an hour on the highway all day long. I drove it to the Hershey swap meet at the AACA Fall Hershey meet. It was loaded up full of ephemera, automobilia and stuff, and I drove it almost 4 hours from upstate New York to Hershey over crazy twisty back roads, and it was fabulous. A little scary maybe because it was all 2-lane roads, and if any truck hit me it would have been curtains, of course, but it's just a super cool car, and I haven't seen one of these. I did see one in the wild this summer actually, and it was out on the interstate somewhere on my way down to South Carolina, probably in Virginia or something. But it does everything you want it to do. It doesn't complain. It always starts. I just don't have any bad things to say about it. The speakers are a little, aren't great with the stereo. The tape deck, it's the original Toyota cassette deck. AM FM radio, so if we're talking options, that's about it. But the tape player doesn't work, unfortunately, and the speakers are not great. Crank it up here and doing there's 45 miles an hour. I guess we can take it out. We could try to go 55 down the highway if you want. We're not going to do any more than that because I don't have anywhere else to do that kind of speed. Oh, I should have turned right there. That's what I should do. Let's do that. Let's turn around right here. We'll turn around in the church. onto a gravel road. Why not? Gravel never hurt anybody. Cemetery. Seaside Community Church. I'm just south of Myrtle Beach. I'm in a little town called Murrells Inlet, and it's a lot of stoplights out here on the main road. So let's just kind of go back the way we came. Really, I'm not putting it all the way to the floor, but this does have the overdrive transmission, so you can press this little button on here. The button's always pressed. Actually, no, it isn't pressed. Where is it? Yeah, the button's always pressed, essentially. If you unpress the button, you know, if you're going down a steep hill and want to use the engine to brake a little bit, you can press the button and it'll back it off to a lower gear. But just driving it, you just hop in and throw it into drive and go. I've never minded the automatic transmission. It works fine. It's a little stiff when it's really cold out until it warms up, you know, throwing it into reverse. But once it warms up, it's super easy. Doesn't shift up into fourth gear until you're really going like 50 or 55. It's kind of crazy. Got an air in my glasses. I bought this from the son of the original owner. He worked at the Toyota dealership in 1986, and he sold this car to his mother when it was new. Later, he had a yoga studio. He bought the car from his parents in the late 90s. Currently, he's 80, about 80, give or take, maybe 81. He and his significant other are some of my previous favorite and best customers when I had Tobin Motor Works. The woman, I sold her XJS Jag. You'll see in my history on Bring a Trailer. The nicest XJS Jag I've ever seen in my life. Convertible. $22,000 service receipt that was less than 3 or 4 years old, and the car sold for $22,000. That's how it works with 12-cylinder Jags. Fabulous cars. All the race cars I've sold on Bring a Trailer were his. A Mini, a Lotus Elan, or Elise track car, 2 Corvette Z06s, which were not track cars. Some other stuff that was theirs. Really nice folks. But this, you know, I go into his storage building that had, you know, 20, 25 cars in it. I got rid of 5 or 6 or 7 of them for them. But the first time I went into that place, you know, there's an Aston Martin, there's a couple of an M3 BMW, a Miata, various Corvettes, Camaros, the L7, whatever the really fast Camaro is. He's got one of those. All kinds of cool stuff. Couples, a Subaru WRX STI. Just really great stuff. And then there's this little van sitting in the corner. And I said, you know, what's the deal with the Toyota van? I haven't seen one of these forever. And he told me the story, how he sold it to his mom, and how he got it from her in the late 90s, and how it's original paint, and his parents lived for a number of years in the mid-90s on St. John's Island in South Carolina, near Charleston. And I looked at it and I was like, you know, I thought, hell, even I can afford this thing. And I asked him if he'd sell it, and he said, you know, maybe someday, you know. I asked him again 6 months later when we were pulling another car out that I was selling for him, because claims he's trying to pare down his collection, or his wife, or significant other anyway. And finally, I said, you know, I need that van, I gotta have it. And finally he said, okay. So 2 years ago, it was the fall of 2023 when I got it. You know, I needed it like I need a hole in my head, but it's just so cool. And I offered it to him. The deal was, if I ever sold it, I would ask him if he wanted it. But I was on the phone with him not an hour ago, and we talked, you know, weeks ago when I told him I was thinking about selling it. And he said, no, you know, it's all right. Do what you want. Put it on, bring a trailer. So here we are. But it's bittersweet for both of us, because it's you know, for me, for the shop, it was just such a great car to, you know, if I needed to go get parts or run around or whatever. And I did a few flea markets with it, you know, not just Hershey, but I would do other stuff. And it's just a great car. Here we are doing 62, 63 miles an hour, headed towards Pawleys Island, South Carolina here. And let's see if I can do it. Yeah, I'm going to do a UE here. Or can I? Yeah. We'll do this. Let's do this. And it brakes well. It's a fabulous little car. Oh, hate to get rid of it. But you know the story. I've had some rather significant life changes of late, and it just doesn't fit with current situation. So this is Huntington Beach State Park here. We're gonna do a quick turnaround, and we'll pull out into this 55-mile-an-hour traffic, and you can see me get on it here. Ooh, I totally could have gone right there. But who needs to be a hero? Here we go. Ready? I wish you could see how close these other cars were. 30 miles an hour, 40, 45, 50, 55. If you were in a Vanagon, an air-cooled Vanagon, you'd still be doing 35, and now I'm doing 60 right next to a 4Runner. I get more looks and waves in this car than anything, than my old 230 SL, my 250 SL, my 911, any car that I've had. So the story with the yoga center livery is that this guy has been a yoga instructor and a Toyota dealer, among other things, since the 70s. And so when he got this car back, or when he got it from his folks, he put these stickers on it that says Sunrise Yoga Studio. He closed the yoga studio during the pandemic. It was in Ithaca, New York, where I live. And when I bought it, you know, to me, it reminds me of like an old Volkswagen bus from the 50s or 60s. It was like a TV repairman or something like that, you know, and had the name of the business on it. And I asked him when I bought it, I said, do you mind if I keep the Sunrise Yoga Center on it, because it's so Ithaca, New York. If you've never been to Ithaca, it's like Berkeley, California, in the middle of upstate New York. It is the crunchiest granola place ever, and this is so Ithaca. And people used to leave notes on the, you know, business cards and notes. You know, if you ever want to sell this, you know, let me know. But so I left it on there. He asked me to take off his phone number was on it. So I actually didn't even, I started using a heat gun to get it off, but I didn't even need the heat gun. I just left it outside in the sun for a while, and the stickers came off. I'd start them with a razor blade, and it came right off. So the the stickers will come off if you want to take them off, but I think that part of the charm and fun of this car is the yoga livery. And that cop just pulled out and got somebody. Whoops. I've always wanted to get pulled over in this because you can speed in it, especially in a 45 mile an hour zone now. But I would make some argument that I don't think anybody, if I go to court, I don't think anybody's going to believe me that I was speeding. But anyway, that's our test drive. I know it's a lot of straight stuff, but it's a killer car. And my guess is that you'll never see another one in the wild. I put a Radwood sticker on the window. This car, I never took this car to Radwood. I took the Radwood that I went to was in Philadelphia, God, probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I took my BMW 840. Oh my God, is that a cool car? E31 BMW. I bought some stickers, but I put one on this car. Oh, and here these come with the purchase. The high bidder is going to get 3 Hot Wheels. These are actually, you know, it's called the 1986 Toyota van. 3 different colors. They came out, I think, in 2022, and they're the same. You know, they're the same year as the van on the package. Pretty cool. But you know, all the dumb stuff that never works in old cars, like clocks and canceling turn signals and things like that, it all works here. The only thing that I've found that doesn't work is the rear wiper. The rear air, the rear fan does work with this controls up here and in the back. But the rear wiper doesn't. Try to go right between these little speed bumps. Oh, look at, oh no, still gets me. Thought I was just narrow enough. Everybody looks at you when you're driving this thing. And then I've had people ask me if, you know, I park at some park or something, and they ask if I'm going to do a yoga class. I said, oh, I always, you know, no, you know what, we do those on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's Wednesday today. So anyway, there is the yoga van. Thank you for watching. We're gonna park this bad boy back into the garage. I'm rolling over a sewer grate. That's what that clinking was. That was not the car. There we go. That's the 1986 Toyota Yoga van.